I just recently had a conversation with somebody who's trying to get into engineering as a full-time thing, and I'm worried that some of the messages that I'm sending are a little bit mixed. So I want to clarify some things on what I think about work ethic. First of all, sorry for the jacket. It's raining outside and my shirt is soaked. I don't want to just wear a wet shirt, so get ready for all the jacket noises. So you guys have heard me say multiple times that I am not a fan of hustle culture. I think it can definitely lead to a certain amount of toxicity within any business that you run. If the business becomes first and foremost above family and your other passions, then I think that's inherently an issue. But as business owners, as somebody trying to create your own income, whether that's a recording studio or a musician or as a producer or frankly any form of business that you work in, right? Even if you're not a fan of hustle culture, and even if you decide I'm not going to work 24 hours a day, if that's what it takes, the caveat then becomes every single hour that you work has to be the most effective work that you've ever done. I don't want to come off as if I take a lackadaisical approach to owning a business and operating a business that, oh, it's just going to work out. I'm going to go home and spend time with my family because that's what's important. That is what's important. But when I'm here, when I'm working hard. I don't want to say this in a way that would alienate anyone, so I apologize if that's how it comes off. But it's not always the talented that succeed. If you're worried about starting a business or coming out into the industry as a mixer or a producer, but you're looking at other individuals like they're way better than me. Of course, so many people will be better than you forever. I look around at some of the people around me and they are way better than I am. I feel like my skills are average, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work my butt off while I'm here to provide the absolute best work that I can and the absolute best customer service that I can. Because what I have found in the music industry is it's not hard to get somebody to work with you. You just have to be better than half the other people out there. And I don't mean better as in like a better mixer or a better producer. You have to be better at providing a better customer experience. I can't tell you how many gigs I've gotten because somebody's engineer was AWOL, because they couldn't get a hold of somebody, because this project has been held up for a year and they need somebody to get it done. And then they call me and this particular project gets done in 1 or 2 days and I've just landed a customer for life, basically. Well, maybe not in life, but those customers keep coming back. And all I had to do was answer the phone, talk to them like they were humans. All I had to do was respond to them and hear them for what they're saying and what their concerns are and what their goals are for the project, and then help them accomplish that. All I had to do was do it on time. All I had to do was to be dependable. All I had to do was protect their investment from the time they came to me until it was finished. Those sound like convoluted things, but really they're not. If you're focused on the customer and if you're focused on providing that customer the best experience, whatever that may be, then it's honestly really hard to fail. By the way, this is a new camera setup. Let me know what you think. This is now the second video with this camera. I really like it. It looks great on the monitor, but interested to know if you guys can tell any kind of a difference. What I'll say is this: if you're worried about going into starting a studio or starting working with bands because you're not the ultimate best person out there that could possibly work with them, find closure in the fact that that was me when I started. I had this building. I've now been in this building for 11 years. Looking back on it, I don't think I was ready for it. Hindsight 2020, clearly I was, but I think there was definitely a fair amount of Dunning-Kruger effect taking place, and I was on the wrong side of it. I was thinking I knew a whole lot more than I did, which at times can be a really healthy way to get your foot in the door. If you just need to jump and you're ignorant of the challenges and you're ignorant of the hurdles, that can be a good thing for you. If you're thinking that you don't have the skill set to do this, if you're thinking that you don't have what it takes to make it in the industry like this, but yet you create music, yet you do mixes, and I work with a lot of you guys. I've had people approach me with mixes and they're just like, I don't think I'm good enough. I want to do this, but here's my body of work. And I'm like, if I could grab you by the shoulders and shake you and tell you you're way better off than I was when I had started, you're going to do better than me. The only things that you have to do are treat your customer right, because everything else, frankly, can be learned. If you're not going to make the best possible project and you're not going to win Grammys, well, welcome to the club. Not a lot of us have awards, or not a lot of us have massive credits, but there are a lot of people in the industry who are working and providing for their family and doing what they love, working with customers, and having that mentality of doing the best possible work you can, treating the customer the best you possibly can, and you'd be surprised how much comes back. If I had waited to start a studio until I thought I was the best engineer in my area, or I was the best mixer I could possibly be, I literally would not have started a business. And when's the best time to start? Yesterday. And the second best time to start? Today. It's really easy to get hung up on the details and thinking that you're not good enough to do something. If you really have a passion for it, what's the risk? If you're already making records at your house, in your bedroom, in your basement, wherever that is, and they sound halfway decent, if you enjoy doing it, chances are somebody else you know out there is going to need that service. Just try. And when you try, give everything you possibly have to it, because I guarantee this, every time you try, you're going to be a little frustrated. Every time you make a record, it's not going to be perfect. I look back on projects that I did when I opened. Heck, I look back on projects that I did last month, and I'm frustrated with myself. But that's good. That's okay. That means there's an arc, there's improvement happening, and now I'm frustrated every time I look back. I learn something every single time I make a record. So if we see all this, that you don't have to be the best, that you're going to learn something new every time, that you just need to jump in and do it, then wouldn't it stand to reason that you need to get started now? You need to get started right now. If you feel like I'm speaking to you and you feel like this is applicable to what you're doing, then maybe you're right for this. Go to recordingstudioacademy.com. There will be a place to put in your email there. You can get notified. I'm starting to build a platform of education, a place where, we'll talk about recording, we'll talk about production, we'll talk about how to actually make records from start to finish, but we're going to talk about the business side of stuff. And classes will be rolling in on that. So if you want to be notified, go to recordingstudioacademy.com, put in your information there, and I'll keep you notified when classes become available. Certainly, you don't have to do that. There's a wealth of information here on YouTube that you can definitely use to get you started and going in the right direction. But ultimately, all it comes down to, treat your customers the way you want to be treated in that situation. Give way, way more and expect nothing in return. And do the best work that you can, because you're never going to be the best. And slowly over time, you're going to get better. So the sooner you start, the better you're going to be in the end. Anyway, guys, that discussion with that person really got to me, and I feel like I needed to clarify how I approach work ethic. And I don't think we have to be here 24 hours a day, but I think the time that we do spend in the studio or doing the work that we're doing has to be some of the most effective time that we're doing. Speaking of which, I got to get off here because I have a client coming in here in the next 15 minutes. So as always, like it if you like it, subscribe if you're new. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy, and I'll see you in the next one.